Your your your
All right, everyone. How are you doing? Here we are, the National 2023 just about wrapped up. Just about wrapped up the National. Man, if you went, I hope you had a great time. I hope you were able to get some Grail cards. I hope you were able to continue adding to your collection. And if not, hey, no big deal. There's always next year. So I just want to say welcome everyone to the PWCC weekly live vintage card auction. We are here building collections, not portfolios. I'm Rob Gerard, your sports card therapist. And later in the program, I'm going to have with me my co-host, Jonah. So Jonah is going to be here joining me in the second half of the program. And I'm proud to say that this is brought to you in partnership with PWCC. So a major shout out to them and their staff. And as we do each week, we are focusing primarily on sports cards that are from 1979 and older. So that's the T206s, the Cracker Jack cards, the Gaudy sets, the Play Ball sets, the first ever Bowman and top sets, and everything in between. Don't forget, the bidding truly begins. The auction, this is what separates the men from the boys. The auction begins 10:30 p.m. East Coast time. So we're looking at about 60 minutes from now. And if you cannot watch the whole stream with us, or if you miss a week, do not worry. All the streams get saved to the Sports Card Therapist YouTube page. Also, if there's a card that you want me to pull up so we can discuss, just mention it in the comments, and we'll make sure to try to get that for you. So, how is everyone doing? Oh, the National. Let me tell you, it has been quite a week. It has been quite a week. I actually just released episode 1 of my recap on Sports Card Therapist podcast and on my YouTube page, and actually going to be releasing part 2 to my national recap on Tuesday. So we're just going to kind of keep it moving like that. Let me tell you though, if you've been to national, then you know. But the amount of vintage cards that I saw, the amount of gorgeous vintage cards that I saw, unbelievable. Like, it just gets my head spinning. And just, I want to ask a million questions when I walk up to someone's table or when I walk up to their booth. And this is like one of those booths that have, 12 showcases, and you look down and they have like 352 mantles, 10 54 Hank Aaron's. They have, maybe 8 51 Bowman mantles, 8 51 Bowman Mays. I'm like, where are they getting these cards from? This is like, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, and I know, some people have been in it forever, but if they've been in it forever, you would think that these cards, would have moved around a little bit. And I know that they probably have, and they're just acquiring new ones. But I think my point is, when I see people and I go up to, booths that have millions and millions of dollars in just pure vintage cards, man, talk about making my heart skip a beat. Talk about making my heart skip a beat. Unbelievable. I really didn't have many pickups at the National. I was so busy doing so many things. I picked up probably the one I'm most proud of. The pickup that I am most proud of is, let's see, is this. This is the one I'm definitely most proud of. 52 Tops Maze. The centering on it, I mean, it looks 50-50. It looks 50-50. And I look at, doing this show, I mean, I'm looking at hundreds of cards a week and basically analyzing, what the centering is on it. And I couldn't let it walk away. It walked right up to my table, and it was actually someone that I knew from Connecticut that had it. And I just happened to pick up a super liquid card with no intention of holding it, but I knew I was going to use it as bait for something, and he ended up taking the bait, and I got that card. It was just a Jordan rookie, 1986 Fleer Jordan rookie. So I knew, being in Chicago, why wouldn't I, so got me the maze. I'm super, super psyched about it. So nevertheless, Jonah will be joining me midway through the show. So Jonah will be here. Unfortunately, Jonah was not able to make it to the National. I think he had flight issues like a lot of people did. Adam, who is a regular co-host on here, I was able to see Adam, hang out with him and his wife. Also, prior hosts on this show, Matthew 1956 Top Sky, I was able to see him and hang out with him. Also, Nate in Cardboard Veritas, I was able to see him, hang out with him. I know there's a lot of regular watchers that watch this that I was able to see at the National. So it was just incredible. Thank you to everyone that came up to me, said something nice about this show, about Sports Card Therapist show, just said something nice to me. It was unbelievable. Thank you so much, guys. So I guess with that being said, I know why you're here. You're here for the same reasons I'm here. You are here for the cards. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to jump into it. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to slowly scan some of the cards that we're going to be watching, and I'll probably get to the end, and then from there, if there's anything that you guys see that you want me to stop and look at, then absolutely let me know. If there's anything that you guys want to comment on specifically, you guys already know the drill. Start filling up that chat, and yeah, we can go from here. So we're going to start with some T206s. We have a Walter Johnson hands at chest with the sweet corporal back, and this is a PSA 3, and this is sitting at 2K right now. 2K for Walter Johnson. Next, we have a T206 Christy Mathewson Maddie, and this is the white cap. This is a PSA 3.5, top 30% eye appeal. This is sitting at 1675. 1675. Next, we have the same card, but the dark cap. Look at this. We were talking about this last week, comparing the dark cap and the white cap. This is the dark cap. Same exact grade, different back. This is the sweet corporal back. This is a PSA 3.5, but a top 30% eye appeal, just like the white cap is up there. Look at this. They're both sitting at, dark cap is sitting at 1725, and white cap is sitting at 1675. Beautiful card. Look at the centering on it. Everything about this. And as we talked about last week, right? I mean, it looks like it looks like two different people on these cards. It looks like they had two different artists maybe do the illustrations on this. But with the white cap, you don't have anything on the uniform. So you don't have the New York written across. You don't have the NY right here. And then on the dark cap, you do. Dark cap, you could see the New York right there. You can see the NY on the sleeve. So just a couple differences there. Now, next we have another Christy Mathewson. So we have another Maddie. This is the portrait. This is a PSA 3 sitting at 1475. PSA 3 sitting at 1475. Top 30% PWCC eye appeal. Next, this is going to be the last T206 that we're highlighting tonight. This is the Cy Young Cleveland Grove shows. So, Cleveland Glove shows. And this is a PSA 4. I think this might be my favorite Cy Young. This might be my favorite Cy Young T206, but this is a pop one, just one graded higher. So as we know, when it comes to the PSA pop report with the T206s, they take into account the back. So there's a whole different set of, pop reports basically based on the back. So this is the Sweet Corporal back. So this is the Sweet Corporal and a PSA 4 pop, one of one, just one higher. Next, we have a 1910 T3 Turkey Red Roger Bresnahan, and this is with the checklist back. This is a SGC 1, and this is sitting at 135 right now. Next, man, Maddie is dominating tonight. He is dominating what it is we are talking about tonight. So we have a 1911 T205 gold border Christy Mathewson SGC5. That's sitting at 3,500. 3,500 right there. Let me see. I'm going to put it in solo mode so that way you could see the card just a little bit better. Next, we have the 1913 T200 Fatima Team Pittsburgh Nationals PSA 3. This is sitting at $950 for this beautiful card for the Nationals. Next, we have a 1929 R316 Kashin Publications Melvin Mel Ott. This is a PSA 3, and this is sitting at 400 right now. This is something that does not pop up very often, and neither does this. We have a 1936 National Chickle Fine Pens. Joe DiMaggio slams it. Erickson catching it. PSA 1.5. And that's sitting at 525 right now. 525. Next, we have a 1939 Salutation Exhibits Joe DiMaggio. You don't see these pop up very often either. And that's at 175 right now. This is a BVG 1 of 5, only 7 graded higher. And next, we have a 1948 Yogi Berra rookie BVG5. We got a lot of BVG cards here this week. That's the old Beckett slab. This is a BVG5 sitting at 875. 875. Looks like it has some nice edges, nice corners. It looks slightly high. I mean, more than slightly high. It looks like from top to bottom, it's probably 80-20. But nevertheless, though, it's a great copy of a Yogi rookie if that's what you're looking for. We have a 49 Bowman Warren Spawn PSA 5.5 sitting at 290. 290. Next, we have a 1951 Bowman Ted Williams PSA 4 PWCC certified top 15%. Look at this bad boy sitting at 825. Wow. Man. Now next, look at this. Someone might get some steals here on some mantles. Someone may get some steals because I tell you what, we have a decent amount of good-looking mantles here. Now, I want you guys to look at these side by side. Both 51 Bowman mantles. Both have very similar centering. The centering on the one might be slightly better, but here's the thing. You can see that in the price, right? You can see that in the price because the PSA 1 is just a couple $100 short of the PSA 1.5. Now, let's talk about eye appeal here. Let's talk about eye appeal because 51 Bowman is infamous for these print lines, right? So we have these print lines here. Just take a look at them. See what you think. Which one would you rather have? I mean, they're both great looking cards, right? PSA 1, PSA 1.5, both good looking cards. Both have the print lines. It's fascinating how similar these are. Both have the print lines, very, very similar centering. I'm going to be curious to see where these end. All right. So moving along. Next, we have two 51 Bowman mantles. One is a PSA 2 and one is a PSA 6. I tell you, this 2, when you zoom in on this 2 does not look bad. This is not a bad looking 2. I'm seeing a print line. Is that a print line or a crease? It looks like a print line going right there. Yeah, it's across his face. Yeah, you never want to see that. But I mean, the centering on it is pretty decent. Let's jump over here. Great looking card, great color. I don't see any creases. I don't see any print lines. So the PSA 2 is sitting at 1525 right now, and the PSA 6 is sitting at 5250. 5250. Some great looking mantles in this auction. Some really cool mantles that I think sometimes we're used to maybe seeing in the premier auction, but because of the grades, you have a PSA 1 right here, you have a PSA 1.5 right here. I think, they're falling to the weekly. So, and like we've been saying, like I've been saying, and I know I've heard others say too, right? The National is just wrapping up. Do you think that you're not going to get some steals tonight? And the same goes, I mean, I'm looking at the viewers right now. This is less than half the amount of viewers we have. At this point, we easily have between 30 and 40 viewers. Without a doubt, the National is playing a role in that. Without a doubt, the National is playing a role in that. So if you see a card that you like, this might be the night to try to grab that card. Look at this Phil Rizzuto. Man, that's a beautiful scooter. 52 tops, Phil Rizzuto, PSA 5 sitting at 290. We have a 1953 Bowman color Mickey Mantle CSG 1.5, and that's sitting at 525 right now. You can see the crease going across it. But I'll tell you what, I don't think it looks terrible. This is a good looking 1.5. We have a 54 tops Hank Aaron PSA 6 sitting at 8K. It's a great looking card. 54 tops Al Kaline rookie BVG8 pop 1 of 7. There's only 2 graded higher. That's a great looking card. All right. Mookie Chilson in the house. What is up, Mookie? He said, Rob, I might be stealing mantles tonight. Mook, let me tell you something, man. I agree. There are some great looking cards. There are some great cards that might be available tonight because most of the hobby, or at least a decent percentage of the hobby, was at the National all week. So this might be the week to grab some steals. 1955 tops Jackie Robinson PSA 4. PSA 4, that's sitting at $550. Nice corners, nice edges. I would prefer better centering, but it's still a great looking card. That's sitting at $550. Oh man, look at this. 1955 top Sandy Koufax PSA 5 sitting at $1,400 right now. It's a beautiful card. We have a pair of 56 tops Jackies. You know what? We actually have 3 of them. We have 3 of them. We have a SGC3, an SGC4, and a PSA 3. I'm curious to kind of pick these apart real quick. So the centering on this looks incredible. The centering on the SGC3 looks 50-50. This thing looks unbelievable. The centering on the SGC4 is definitely slightly off. Top to bottom, it looks like it's 80-20. Right to left, it looks like it's probably 60-40. But the color is crisp. The registration's crisp. And I'm not saying that the SGC3 isn't. What I'm saying is I think this is where you're seeing the bump in that grade right there. You're seeing the bump in that grade because of how rich the color is. It looks like it's never seen the sun before. It looks like it was never left out in the light. That's some rich color. Now we're going to go down here and we're going to look at the PSA 3. PSA 3, decent centering, not the best centering, but it's better than, it's probably right in the middle as far as the 3 cards go with centering. Top to bottom looks like it's probably 55-45. And then right to left looks like, yeah, it's probably 60-40. 56 tops Jackie. This is the white back, and this is a PSA 3, and it's a top 15% certified eye appeal. Speaking of Mickey mantles, look at all these mantles. It's unbelievable. Here's a 56 tops mantle, PSA 6. Centering right to left looks close to 50-50. Top to bottom, that's a different story. Top to bottom's looking like it's probably 75-25. Registration looks good. Color looks good. PSA 6 sitting at 2,700 right now. So if the auction ended right this second, this would be 3,000 out the door. Next, we have a couple 57 tops mantles. We have a SGC 3.5. Then we have a PSA 4. Will you look at the difference in price because the centering? It's only a half grade difference, but double the price. These 57 tops, I rarely see perfectly centered, by the way. I feel like almost every copy of the 57 tops mantle that I've ever owned has looked like this. And the thing is, too, the reason why people are such sticklers for it, especially this mantle card, let's talk about this mantle for a minute, is because the entire image is dark. The entire image is dark. So when you have these white borders, it's going to show. It is going to show. And you could see every tiny centimeter of extra white here that is not supposed to be here. And it absolutely throws off the eye appeal without a doubt. Yeah. Sabatarth, how you doing? He says, go, Mookie, do it, man. Mookie says, I could live with the SGC 356 Jackie Robinson. The PSA looks a little faded compared to the SGC cards. So you are saying that you could live with the SGC 3. Let's go take a look at that one real quick. I agree. This is incredible. This is a phenomenal copy of this card. Look at this. I love how you said you could live with this card. I mean, the centering is near perfect. You're like, yeah, I could live with that. Yeah, Mookie can live with that, no problem. So you're saying that the PSA, it looks a little bit faded. Yeah, I mean, you're right, but when I look at it, the redness of the PSA label also looks a little light too. So I'm curious if it has anything to do with the scan. I'm not sure. And someone said that last week. They said if you're ever not sure as far as like, the quality of the scan, we all know how dark and rich the red of a PSA label is. Just kind of compare it to that and look at that. But yeah, to be honest, I would love to own any of these jackies. But if I had a choice, yeah, I would go with the SGC3 for sure. So moving on from these 57 tops mantles, we have a Orlando Sepida auto, rookie auto, DNA. So it was graded a 5, and it's a auto grade of an 8. Auto grade of an 8. Definitely the signature is not preferable, I should say. Right? It looks a little shaky. It's not the prettiest looking signature. And I don't even mean the way that he signs it. I just mean like the quality of it. Next, we have a 58 tops Mickey Mantle All Star PSA 6 sitting at 260 right now. Then we have a 61 post serial Mickey Mantle perforated PSA 6 sitting at 240. 61 top Sandy Koufax BVG 8 sitting at 400 right now. That is a beautiful high grade Sandy Koufax. 62 tops Roberto Clemente. You are buying this raw, and this is going for $36. We have the same exact card right next to it as a PSA 6. Top 15% PWCC eye appeal. This is sitting at $320. Next, we have a couple of 63 tops Mickey Mantles. The first one is a BVG 3.5. The next one is a PSA 5. And the difference in price is pretty big. Let's see if we can figure out why. Yeah, I mean the PSA 5 definitely just looks sharper. It just looks sharper, looks a bit more crisp. It looks like the corners are sharper. The color looks a little deeper. Next, we have a 64 tops Tommy John rookie. Tommy John rookie in a PSA 9. How many PSA 9 Tommy John rookies have you come across? I'd be curious to know what the pop report is on those. Wow. And he is sharing a card with Bob Chance. Next, we have a 1966 tops Mickey Mantle PSA 8. PSA 8 sitting at 2,600 right now. Wow, that's a beautiful card. Beautiful card. Next, we have a 1967 tops Hank Aaron SGC 6 sitting at $140. Sitting at 140 right now. This is a very clean, very crisp, very sharp looking 67 tops Hank Aaron. Sitting at 140 right now. We have a 67 tops Pete Rose PSA 8 sitting at 700, a PSA 8. Wow. All right, let's get to some of these comments real quick. Mookie says the design of that 57 mantle is so simple. The bad centering is so obvious for that reason. I agree, Mook. I agree. You have this, you have the off-white color, like that cream color of the borders, and then you have basically pitch black background around it. Like you said, very simple. There's no real border for it. It's just kind of a picture with a white kind of outline. And yeah, the bad centering's obvious for sure. James Lumen, what is going on? He says, Rob, my guy, I hope I'm not too late for some vintage basketball cards. You are not. We're actually coming up on vintage basketball in a moment. Sabatarth says, do you think that BVG 8 Koufax is more like a PSA 7? I can go back and take a look at it, but I can tell you right now that I think every BVG card ever graded would probably be a grade less than a PSA slab. That would just be my thoughts without even looking at what you're saying. And you said it's beautiful, but it looks like there's a slant to the cut. Let's see. Let's go back and take a look at that real quick. You were talking about the 60. What were you talking about? The 61, right? Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it could have a diamond. Yeah, it could be, have the diamond cut. It could be because the image is slightly shifted, but yeah, it definitely looks like it has a bigger border on the top left as it does to the bottom left. I'm not really. I've never been a Kraken resubmit guy, and I'm not saying that you are. I think you were just kind of inquiring about the cards. We could have some dialogue about it, but I never really BVG. I feel like has just was probably slightly in comparison to what our threshold is and our standards are for cards today. I think that BVG was probably a little bit over in most, if not all, of their grading. Just my thought. So good call. Yes, I agree with you. Point being, I agree with you. Saba. Let's see. Next, we have a 68 Topps Mantle PSA 8 sitting at 1,300. That is a beautiful looking card. A beautiful looking card. Look how low the Mick is holding that bat. Can't even see the nub. Or should I say knob? Can't even see the bat knob. Next, we have a 68 Topps Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, and Harmon Killebrew Superstars. This is a PSA 4, and that's sitting at 145 right now. Look at these legends. Man. Unbelievable. Next, we have a 69 Topps Johnny Bench. Johnny Bench. This is his Topps All-Star rookie card. And I believe he was at National this past weekend. And this is a BVG 6.5. This is sitting at 130. 130. This next one, we have a Mickey Mantle, 69 Topps, last name in yellow, PSA 3, sitting at 160. How this did not get a qualifier is beyond me. This is why I lose faith. I mean, I have no faith in these grading companies anyways, but I have very little faith in these grading companies when they don't give something like this an off center or a miscut. Saba says, thanks for your opinion. I'm returning to the hobby after a long layoff, so really value the input of people here. Saba, let me tell you something, man. Usually when this chat is full, um, you know, any other weekend that it's not the national, any other weekend that the national is just not ending, the information and the knowledge in this group is second to none. And I'm just a sponge and I just soak it all up. It's incredible. But yeah, I mean, a card like this, I don't see, and I never want to talk poorly about a card or a consigner, but I would not want this mantle in my collection. I just would not be able to get over looking at how off center this thing is. I mean, this thing is so miscut or off center. It's unbelievable. Don't think I'd be able to get over that. So, we talk about eye appeal, and my eye would always go to that. It would always, always go to that. So, and I've talked on here before. I've shared stories about how, um, let me see. I'm gonna try to pull up a quick cell phone image on my phone. I know I have it because I actually just showed it to my wife not long ago. Just tonight, actually. I showed her the image that I'm gonna show you guys in a minute. So I bought this Willie Mays. All right, I bought this Willie Mays last year. Okay, so I bought this Willie Mays. I think it was off PWCC actually. Won this on a PWCC auction. As you can tell, it's off center, right? It's off center. Now, when I bought it, I was like, "Yes, I got a 52 tops Mays. I loved it. I'm happy. I'm excited for it. I got it in the mail. I received it, and get I could not unsee how off center it was. So I ended up moving it. I moved it because it was so off center. But if you look at the corners on this. Look at the edges, sharp corners, sharp edges. But I just could not do it with it being off center. So at the beginning of this program, I just showed what a pickup that I had at the National this past weekend, and I got myself another 52 maze. But look at the centering on that. There's no off-center issues that will draw anyone's eyes or mind away from the actual image. And if you look at the corners, nice rounded corners, soft corners. Look at that soft corner. Does it get any softer than that? Every corner rounded, a little bit soft, but dead center. Okay. And that's what I'm saying. For me, I really want to try to get the best centered version of a card I can. I think that's a lot of vintage collectors, right? But a lot of vintage collectors aren't necessarily willing to pay up for it. Point being, the picture that I just showed you on my phone that I got from a PWCC auction last year was a SGC3. You would think that, yeah, chances are the 3 is going to look better than the 2. But when you see the 3 and you see that it's pretty off center and it's hard to get your head around, and then you see this, I think you're always going to go for the centered one. I know I do. So for me, you have to know what you want and how you want it to look. And the reason why I bring all that up is because the reason I bring that up, I already moved it. But that 69 mantle, how off center that is, I hope the buyer is okay with it being that off center. I think that's my point. I hope the buyer's okay with it. Um, Mike says, did PSA eliminate qualifiers and just lower 2 grades? No. PSA still has qualifiers. They still have qualifiers. So, Mookie in the house. Mookie says, wow, Rob, that new 52 maze is hot. Was the SGC2 in the same money ballpark as my older SGC3? Yeah, they were actually almost dead on. Almost dead on. So good call on that, Mookie. And let me tell you something. I think if both cards were on the table right now, I think that my SGC2 would demand more money because for most people, it's all about centering. And don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking off center or miscut cards because I own some. I've owned plenty in my day. The printing capabilities way back then were not what they are today in 2023. I mean, you see now, even in 2023, we have some super modern cards that get miscut, off center, all that stuff. So, but yeah. So Saba says, when it's centered, the corners just kind of fade out for me. Saba, I agree, man. I agree. Ed Flood says, good points. Thank you for that, Ed. Thank you. JB says, I think PSA reduced the frequency that they use qualifiers. A PSA 3 could be 90-10, but yeah, that one is way off. Yeah, that mantle almost looks like it's 95-5. You know what I mean? And the thing is, I wonder if people are I wonder if what you're saying is true. Let's just kind of go with that, right? JB is saying that he thinks that PSA is trying to reduce the amount that they use qualifiers. If that is true, I wonder if it has anything to do with the fact that I know a lot of people, if they have a qualifier of off center or miscut, for years they were just cracking them and sending them into SGC, because even if you get a lower grade in SGC, no one likes a qualifier. No one likes a qualifier. So qualifiers are just, they just. So maybe PSA is doing that. I'm not sure, So Ed says, all my cards from childhoods were all off centered and I didn't even notice. And Mookie says, I would pay more for the SGC2 maze, no doubt. Wax centering is you had one job of card printing. It's the one thing a manufacturer can't mess up. Yeah, and Ed, Mookie, great point, Ed. I agree. I think a lot of the cards I owned as a kid were really off centered, and it's one of those things though that with centering is that when you finally really train yourself to see centering, you can never unsee bad centering. You can never unsee it. So even I think if I were to go back and look at all my cards that I had from childhood, if they are really poorly off centered, I might not have noticed way back then. It didn't mean anything to me then. But I'll tell you what, now I would never be able to unsee it. Now I would be picking them apart and just saying, you know what? Poof. So yeah. Orlando, a collector's dream in the house. Orlando, how are you doing? Orlando, were you at the National? Because I know I did not see you. So if you were, I hope you had a great time. So all right, let's keep it going. So next we have a 1970 Topps Nolan Ryan PSA 5 top 15% eye appeal. This is sitting at 290. What a beautiful, beautiful copy of this card. Does anyone know any Nolan Ryan super collectors out there? I'm curious, because, I feel like his cards are just ingrained into the psyche of most card collectors. I could literally in my mind, without even trying, think of probably his first 15 cards he ever had, from 68 all the way up to like 82 or 83. They're just forever burned in my brain. So all right, so next, 1961 Fleer, Bill Russell, PSA 5. Let me tell you something. For a 61 Fleer, this centering is not half bad. This is actually pretty good centering for a 61 Fleer. And it's so weird how mentally I can look at this and appreciate the centering. Whereas we were just talking before about how like bad centering can really like get in your head a little bit. But we all know, or I think a lot of us know, that 61 Fleer basketball is infamous for having some of the worst centering ever. So when I see this Bill Russell, I look at this as a very centered Bill Russell 61. I'm not sure if anyone else can identify or if anyone else feels that way, but I just, yeah. Yeah, definitely how I feel. Mookie says, Orlando, no national hangover for you. Let's get this chat going. Orlando says, I missed you. Just got back today. JB says, JB says you can no longer select no qualifiers when you submit for PSA. PSA decides now. And then Mookie says Orlando had the greatest video with a collector of a 49 Leaf set. Highly recommend. Thank you, Mookie. In Orlando, I will definitely go and check that out. So thank you for that. And right on time, never late, we have Jonah. Jonah, JD9 Cards. How you doing, sir? How are you? Let's see that mug.
Doing good, Rob. I hope you had a great national.
Yeah, absolutely. National was phenomenal. Just a lot of cards. I'm not sure if you knew there was going to be a lot of cards there, but there was a lot of freaking cards. And the amount, I was saying right at the beginning of this broadcast, the amount of vintage, it just boggles my mind. And I'm curious if you guys have any thoughts on this, but like when I walk up to someone's booth, right, and they clearly, the entire booth is theirs. It's not like they're subletting it to people and there's 8 different dealers set up there. But you walk up to the booth, it's really just one owner. Maybe he's got some people working for him, but 12 showcases, right? 12 big showcases. He's got 852 Jackies, 852 Mazes, 1554 Hank Aaron's. Like you start seeing things like that, and it's like I don't even know what to say. I feel like I'm rubbing 2 sticks together, and they have flamethrowers.
Yeah, I think a lot of those people are just in it, for the past 30, 40 years. So
Yeah. And just unbelievable stuff. So it really feels like no matter what card you're looking for, and no matter what grade of that card you're looking for, chances are you'll find it, unless you're talking about the rarest of the rare. Like unless we're talking about the rarest of the rare, the kind of cards that we know probably less than 99 of them exist. Like unless we're talking about
Wagner there at all.
I didn't. No, I did not. I think there was a Babe Ruth Sporting News. I think there was either 1 or 2 of them there.
I knew
though.
Pubstein had one. He has a 7. Yeah, he has a 7.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, there is literally anything you can ever imagine in any grade is there. Unbelievable. I mean, there were booths there that just had hundreds of Type 1 photos.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable stuff.
Just got my first photo in the collection yesterday. So
congrats. How's it feel?
Feels good. Let me go get it real quick.
Okay, so Jonah's saying that he just bought his first ever Type 1 photo. So he just bought his first ever Type 1 photo.
I think it's Type 3 from a newspaper. I don't know how much.
Oh, okay.
You can see on this the reflection, but it's like
that's beautiful. It looks like it looks like he's sliding back to first or sliding back to second.
I think it's second on a pickoff, but
there
it's
you go.
Jackie Robinson sliding back in on a pickoff in 1953, and I just like the 42 image there.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, phenomenal. Nice pickup. Yeah. So so the difference with the Type 1, Type 2, Type 3, I believe Type 1 comes from the original roll within 2 years of the photo being taken. I think a Type 2 is, and please correct me if I'm wrong, guys. You might be able to look up some definitions real quick, but a Type 2 is same picture, original roll within 5 years of it being taken, it being developed. And then I think a Type 3 is same image off an original roll, but like there's no time limit on it, so maybe not original roll. It's basically just almost like developing a picture, right? Or making a copy of a picture or something like that, I think. So all I know is Type 1, that's the one. That's the
best,
one
yeah.
that like long time will hold that value. Type 2s and Type 3s definitely really cool collectibles and ways to add to your collection for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so so me and my guys, we had a trade night on Friday night. We had the Wolfpack trade night. It was off the hook, so much fun. And so, you know, there's a hobby personality there that is like a lot of people like him, hate him, or maybe never heard of him. Dan, the great curator.
Mhm.
And so the great curator, he's sitting there at trade night. You know, I consider him a friend. So he was there for most of the trade night, and he sat at like the big long reserved table. And he had probably like 15 PSA graded Type 1 photos laid out, you know, like Mike Tyson, Hulk Hogan, just like
Yeah.
just the most random things and people, you know, things you could think of. But it was really cool to see. It's like, you know, you're at a trade night and someone has their Type 1 photos laid out at trade night, you know, it was pretty
Mhm.
good. So, all right, so we're just about through with this, but I didn't go into too much detail on anything. So we just reviewed the 61 Fleer Bill Russell, but I want to look at this, okay? 61 Fleer basketball wax pack,
Wow.
unopened, current bid 82.50. Whew. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It'll be. I always love watching like the unboxing videos of packs, opening packs up from vintage packs. It's always really cool to see.
Yeah. Yeah. And the cool thing about, you know, the 61 Fleer is that there's only 66 cards in the entire set. So there's only 66 cards in the entire set, right? And I think we all know about, you know, some of the legends that were in it and whatnot. But I mean, when you talk about like iconic rookie cards, you're talking about Wilt Chamberlain, Hal Greer, Sam Jones, Oscar
Mhm.
Robertson, Jerry West, Lenny Wilkins. You know, so it's you never know. Like you never know what could be in that pack because I don't think to my knowledge, I have never heard that 61 Fleer is the way that 86 Fleer basketball is, where every pack, all you need to know like what
It's the order.
exactly
Yeah.
everything's in order. I don't think 61 Fleer is like that. So Mookie says, how many cards in that 61 pack? What are the odds you will get a Wilt? Um, I believe I'm going to guess here and say that there's 5 cards per pack. I'm not sure if anyone in the chat wants to try to look that up. I'm not sure, but I'm quite certain there's not many. A lot of those older packs, you know, like 51 Bowman, I think there was 5 cards in there, you know, just, you know, things like that. So, um,
Did you see at the National they had a 1954 Tops like box with 36 packs in it?
wow.
I think Nat Turner bought it.
He bought it or brought it?
I think he bought it.
Oh, wow.
I don't
I
know
mean,
if that's
54 Tops, iconic year. You got
yeah,
you know, a fair amount of
Aaron, Kaline Banks. Yeah.
exactly. Yep. So here we have a 69 Tops Wilt Chamberlain BVG 2.5 sitting at only $92 for a second year Wilt. That just feels like a steal right there. 69 Tops John Havlicek rookie PSA 5. This is sitting at 125 right now. Then we have a 69 Tops Elvin Hayes rookie BVG 3.5 sitting at 41. These guys are top 75 NBA all-time players. John Havlicek rookie, Elvin Hayes rookie. Man, the disrespect on these prices, in my opinion. And like I was saying earlier, I wonder to an extent how much has to do with the national still going on. I mean, that's likely the reason why the chat is what 18 viewers now instead of 35 or 40, right? I mean, we have the national going on and it's just getting wrapped up. And I think people are probably exhausted. I know I'm exhausted. I don't even have my
Mhm.
voice back yet. So So Mike says, I find it odd that the hobby is okay with GAI graded packs, but then they turn their nose up to GAI graded singles.
It's a good
Well,
point.
yeah, but GAI, I think, that's an older grading company, and I think when it comes to singles, there's a few grading companies out there that are just like old, and you almost I'll speak for myself, like sometimes I think I might wonder, like, well, how much do I trust those old grading companies? And I guess the same could be said with the packs, right? But how much do I trust these old grading companies that maybe a reprint and slip through the crack, and now they graded a reprint, you know what I mean, kind of thing.
Yeah, I would on those ones. I usually worry that it's like if it's a high grade, I worry it's trimmed or something.
Yeah, yep, yeah. Good call. And Chris Gill says 6 cards per pack usually. I was one off. I thought 5, but Chris is saying 6 cards per
So
pack.
you got a 10% chance at a Chamberlain rookie if you said there were 60.
66, yeah.
Yeah, so 9%.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Orlando says 2 Wilts in the set, 1 in action. Yeah, so 2 Wilts, 2 Russells. There's 2 Jerry West, 2 Oscar Robertsons, right? So it's a really fun set to collect. I think any basketball connoisseur, especially someone that collects some of the vintage stuff, without a doubt. I know so many vintage basketball collectors that they are all collecting that set, and they find fun ways to do it. They try to either do it all fully signed or all PSA 5 or all this or all that. There's just, fun ways to kind of do it. And with 66 cards, it's doable. It's not like you're
Yeah.
talking about T206 or Gaudy here. I mean, 66 cards, and there's only a handful that are going to be really, really expensive, because even an Oscar Robertson rookie isn't terrible. You could get a really nice looking Oscar Robertson rookie for about $1,000. Even Will, I was actually pricing some out. I wanted to grab one yesterday. I had some money in my pocket still after picking up my maze, and I was like, you know what? I think I wanna get a Wilt, like a nicely centered Wilt, and it's so hard to find a nice centered one though. But they are relatively affordable. So Dez 7th Ave says, I'm curious to see what modern card values will become if the economy gives way to a recession. Will the aggressive printing come back to hurt many? Definitely taking this conversation into a different direction with that question. I probably won't go too deep into that, but what I would say is that I think we've been in a recession for quite some time now. And hopefully we're coming out of that soon. But I think the aggressive printing, I think it's kind of hurt the hobby for a while now. And what I wonder, though, what the question that I wonder is, because even back with T206, with Gaudy, 52 tops, there was a lot of aggressive printing even back then. There are thousands of copies of some of these cards, the most iconic cards out there, right? But they're still, just held in such high regard. So I wonder if 50 or 60 years from now, what is super modern going to look like? I think it's not going to look nearly the same as the vintage does to us now. And that's because all this super modern, they are so well taken care of, these cards, that you're just going to have a ton of PSA 10 LeBron rookies.
Yeah.
Zion rookies, Joe Burrow rookies.
The difference was stuff was made, and some people collected it, but not really. No one thought to take care of it. And now, if you open a pack, it goes right into a penny sleeve and a top loader and off to PSA if it's a good card.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and Mike says, wasn't GAI founded by the guys who came from PSA? I have no idea, but it sounds like it could be a real possibility. I mean, if you told me that, I wouldn't argue it. So look at this. We have a couple PSA 10s.
They're still going.
They are still going. Whoever is leaking these out to the public is really,
they're killing it.
Really killing it. They are just straight up killing it right now.
feel like every single card in this set, if it's a 10, it's like 5 figures.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen one sell for under 10.
Yeah. I always wonder with set builders, and people can comment, is like the thrill of completing the set more fun to you, or is once you have completed the set, owning them and looking at all of them together, which one do you enjoy more?
It's got to be the chase.
Yeah, I would. For me, it's the chase. So I wonder if this person who's selling these was, they owned them for a while and enjoyed it, and then thought it was time to split it up and pivot to something else to chase.
Yeah. And I've talked to guys that have been building the same set for, not this set, but just like have been building a set for years. And they've said, yeah, when I finish it, I'll sell it.
Mhm.
Like, okay. So yeah. So next we have a 53 Bowman Auto Graham PSA 7 sitting at 250. We have a 57 Topps Johnny Unitas rookie
Wow.
PSA 8 8750. Wow. Wow.
I don't know if I've seen one in an 8 before.
I don't know if I
Option.
have either. Yeah. So Johnny Unitas, he was a 3-time NFL MVP. Think about that. 3-time. That's like Peyton Manning territory. You know what I mean?
Do you know how many Brady has off the top of your head? See it 4?
No, I don't think so. I think Peyton has 4. I don't think does Brady have any? Maybe he has
Mhm.
1 or 2.
Brady has at least 2. I don't know if he has 3.
Well, then that's it. I think. I don't think he has more than that. I know Peyton has more, but so yeah. So Johnny Unitas, 3-time NFL champion, 3-time MVP, 10-time Pro Bowler. The guy was absolutely incredible. And here we are looking at his rookie card in a PSA 8 form. Look how happy he looks. Look how
Mhm.
awkward he looks throwing it too.
It's like way behind his head.
There's no way they're like, oh, just throw it how you normally do. He was getting coached by the photographer and exactly how to throw that, because there's no way he would ever feel comfortable throwing the ball like that.
Mm-hmm.
Flat-footed like that.
Yeah.
That looks like you on the dance floor, Jonah.
Probably right.
So yeah, we have some more John Unitas. We have a second year 58 Topps PSA 6 that's sitting at 200. Great centering top to bottom, though. Looks like it's probably closer to 80-20. Right to left looks 50-50, though. 59 Topps Jim Brown PSA 4 with the mark. This is sitting at 165 right here. For many people, this is their favorite Jim Brown card.
Yeah, I like how he pops out through the card there.
Oh,
It's
he's
really cool.
imposing.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to the almost like, I don't want to say cartoonish look of his rookie, but it's definitely not as menacing. That one, he's like, in his rookie card, it looks like he's running away from trouble. And here he looks like he's confronting trouble.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very badass looking card. Then we have some boxing cards. We have an 1887 Allen and Ginter Jack Dempsey.
Wow.
How freaking cool is that?
I thought that would be more money than $80.
Me too. Me too. I'm shocked.
It is rough one, but still. It's
Yeah. All right, guys. So you have 3 minutes before the auction begins. 3 minutes before the auction begins. I'm actually just going to look at my cards, at my bids real quick.
mm-hmm. Rob, it looks like they split up the sports again, unlike last
I
week.
know. I noticed. I don't like it either. Yeah. We have some Pele cards. We have the Pele rookie right here sitting at 72.50. We have the
Yeah.
65 Pele CSG1. It's only $62.
They always grade these Pele rookies odd to me. It's like,
No rhyme or reason.
yeah, like if you click in on the 6.5 and then you like look at another one that's like a 2 or 3, like they don't really, because these are like, are these hand cut or stickers or something like that? I forget what they are. Or like the tear outs, the perforated tear outs.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the corners all, I just never know how they grade these things.
All right, so let's jump back. The iconic 1937 Ogden's champions of 36, Jesse Owens.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one of those eventually. I like that card.
I tell you, these tobacco cards, man, it's like they I don't think they'll ever be not appreciated.
Yeah.
Dez says chasing a set is the best because of the adventure. If you completed a T206 set, would you sell it? Yeah, I mean, I would imagine. Mookie says Brady is a 3-time MVP, 2-time loser to Eli Manning in the Super Bowl. Mook, I love you, my man. Dez says, I remember Brady for the 2-time loss to Eli. And then Mike says adhesive backs on the Pele. I'm not sure. I'm not very familiar with those, to be honest with you, Mike. All right, guys, the timers have begun. So let's check it out. So we have some T206 cards here. We have a couple Christy Mathewsons right here. We have the dark cap, we have the white cap, and we have the portrait.
It's a nice collection of Mathewson right there going off.
Unbelievable. Yeah, absolutely.
All 4.
Yep. And we've talked about him so much on this program, but I mean, Christy Mathewson, pitched in the majors for 16 years. Then he was a manager. He has 373 career wins, which is unbelievable. 188 career losses. So basically, he's got like 550 career decisions. 2-time World Series champion, 2-time Triple Crown winner. Think about that, okay? Think about that. 2-time Triple Crown winner. 2-time Triple Crown winner. And one of the most dominant pitchers in baseball history.
Trying to remember the last time someone won the Triple Crown in pitching. Could not tell you.
Me neither.
Like maybe Kershaw or Verlander, but don't know when.
So, Jonah, what happened, my friend? What happened? Tell us.
What happened? Oh, the national stuff.
Yeah, the national stuff, Jonah.
So I got to the airport, at what 4:45 a.m. on Saturday. Checked in, got my ticket, and then I got to the gate when I scanned it, and they were like, "You don't have a seat go stand in that line over there, and there was like 20 other people without a seat. And then the flight boarded, and they were just calling names for the extra seats on the flight, and
So
didn't
they
get
just
on.
booked too many people for the flight.
Yeah, they overbooked it. And then there was a
How
flight.
can they get away with that?
I don't know. There was like a cancellation the day before, so then all the people from the day before were getting on the flight too. And then they like took 10 seats away that they had. It was a mess.
Were people upset?
Yeah. Yeah, there was like 20 people who didn't get on.
Wow.
They were pissed.
Now, when you realized that you weren't going to be going, were you like at peace with it? Were you like, you know what, it's just not in the cards for me? Or were you pissed?
I wasn't as mad as some people because they had like, I was going there for fun. I didn't like need to be there. Like some people had to like pick up their kids. They had a funeral, stuff like that. So I was disappointed, definitely because I was supposed to do a big deal in person at the National, and got all the money to bring up there and was ready to have a card in hand. So I was worried that the deal might fall through. That was my main concern. And then obviously meeting you, seeing other people, seeing the show, sucked to miss out on too. I like looked up other flights that took off that day, but it was like $875 I would have been there for like 3 hours. So I was just like,
yeah, no,
can't do it.
And the thing is too, is it's like the thing is, once you're there,
Yeah.
it's almost like being at a casino. Once you're there, all else absolutely goes out the window. Like if you were there for 2 hours and you're like, oh my God, I need to leave to get to the airport, you would probably, I don't care how responsible you are, you would say, screw it, I'll figure it out later. It's like being at Disneyland. It's like being a 10-year-old at Disneyland and your parents saying, okay, you have to leave after an hour. You've barely been on any rides. The rides you've been on have been incredible. Like you'd be like, no, I'm not leaving. I'll figure it out. I'll walk back to Georgia.
Yeah, it was really sad. Definitely once got all the way to the gate, scanned my ticket on the thing, and then they're like, you don't have a seat. I was like, what? I paid for a seat. I should have a seat.
Yeah. Well, there were flights were some of the biggest reasons for people's frustrations at the National this year. Everyone I talked to had a horror story about flight delays. It was unbelievable. And we didn't even mention this Maddie right here, this 1911 T205 Gold Border SGC 5.
That's a great image too.
I think I forget his name. Is it BGS Entertainment that is always in the chats here, who's in our vintage chat? I think it's BGS Entertainment or something like that. But I actually saw him. He was at my trade night, the Wolfpack trade night. He came up and introduced himself. I think he has one of these.
That's cool.
I think he had it out on the table. Look at this. We were like doting over this before. We were like, look how incredible this looks. Look at this copy. Look at the centering on this Jackie.
Yeah.
Is it not 50-50 all the way around?
Yeah, it is. It looks great.
Look right to left. Look at the borders on the right and left. Are they not identical?
Yeah.
And then top to bottom, identical. That centering, I think, is 50-50.
I love that. I think it's it's my favorite design Jackie card.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Me too. Man, I really want a 56 Topps Jackie now that I'm looking at this. There's just some of those cards, that it's like, first of all, they're iconic regardless, but then you've spent so much time talking about them and researching them and just having these kind of conversations. That's why really it almost feels like having making content. Oh, look at that bid going up.
Yeah, those are two great copies right there. And
So
the action shots, him stealing home too, like just doesn't get better.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So they're talking in the chat about Dwight Gooden won the Triple Crown in '85. Koufax was a 3-time Triple Crown winner, and Mookie is saying that Justin's brother Shane Bieber actually won the Triple Crown in 2020.
Oh. And then Mike said he was 8-1 because it was that COVID year, so they barely played any games.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess you could put a slight asterisk next to it, right? Oh, hold on. ANW Collectibles says, got me a Mantle rookie. Let's go. Congratulations, my friend. Let's go. Let's ring the bell. Can we get some details? Which one did you get? There was a PSA 1 here, and there was a PSA 1.5 that was here and available. We need to know, which one did you get? And Mike, yeah, one of the Jackies has an upper right corner crease. I think that's the SGC3. I was looking at that earlier. I think it's this one that you're talking about that has the upper right hand crease. You can kind of see it right there a little bit. And that's, obviously the reasoning for, see it right there? I think that's what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that on that.
But I mean, that's the reasoning for it being a 3. I mean, talk about low grade, high eye appeal, right? It's like you barely see it. You barely see it, but the rest of it is just gorgeous. And this is the 69 that we were talking about before. I mean, I just couldn't imagine owning this card. Could you imagine taking this card out and looking at this card, Jonah, and being like, yes, I got a Mantle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then the white letter too is like, I never see those. If that one's yellow, but if you had a white,
but I mean, it's the centering would just, I would have to I'd have to get rid of it immediately.
69's a really tough year for centering.
Yeah,
it's like the worst in the 60s, and in my head that I think about, they're always cut diamond cut or OC.
All right, so I'm trying to get back. I have no idea why it's not letting me go back. Yeah, Jonah, very unfortunate you couldn't go, man. But next year's in Cleveland.
Yeah.
So,
did they decide the vote on the following years after that, or no?
Well, I know next year's in Cleveland. The year after that is Chicago. And there were a bunch of places on the ballot for 26.
Yeah.
Did you hear that Atlanta is in the running?
Yeah, I did. That's why if it was Atlanta, that would be so perfect for me.
Yeah, I know.
I could go like every day.
So A&W Collectible says he won the PSA 1. Congrats on that, man. And I tell you what, let's pull that up in a minute. Yep. So the one that he's talking about, it was neck and neck for the same price as the 1.5. And arguably, I think I even said it on this episode that we're doing right now. I think I said, as we were talking, I would prefer the 1.5. And let me say this too, man. I was looking at multiple. There's the 1.5. Hold on, let's see. We're gonna have to go back a screen. I think I was looking at multiple 51 Bowmans at National this past weekend, because that card is still It's evaded me still. I mean, I've owned 2 copies and I haven't been over the moon with either of them. So I ended up moving them, and I still have not found my forever copy. So the hunt continues. Let's take a look at this 51 Bowman that he just won. There she is. Wow. That is a beautiful, beautiful copy right there. Congratulations on that, man. I mean, the centering is some of the best centering you're ever going to see for a 51 Bowman. Now, obviously, you have some of these print lines, but let me tell you, both copies that I've owned have had worse print lines. And the reason why this does not look like a one eye appeal is because look at the back. So the back, you got some stuff going on with it, but I would much prefer that. Give me a card that has some stuff going on in the back that I'm not happy with, but has a much higher eye appeal rating. I mean, arguably eye appeal wise, this is easily a 2. Easy.
Yeah, there's not like bad creasing at all on it, which is really nice.
No,
just the print lines, which ton of Bowman have in 51.
Yeah, congratulations on that, man. I hope it went to a good home. That's amazing. That's exciting, man. I'm excited for you. So let's see, man. These cards are falling off quick. So we have the T206 Christy Mathewson White Cap PSA 3.5. This is sitting at $18.50 right now. We still have this SGC 3 sitting at $430. Someone's going to be paying $500 out the window for this card. Then we have the PSA 3 that's at $470 right now. This is a top 15% PWCC certified eye appeal, and it looks like we have some more cards that just sold. Looks like this Clemente, the 62 Clemente PSA 6, just sold for $630. Congratulations to the owner of that. And we have some people still duking it out. Look at this. It looks like the same 2 bidders probably going back and forth. I mean, these are cards that would probably, in any other grade really would not be worth much money at all. Someone might even go out on a limb and call these commons. Yeah. So if these were considered commons, it looks like, based on the fact that you have the exact bid happening with both of these, that you have the same 2 bidders going at it right now.
Yeah, I wonder, like, since all these 10s have been going off in the past month or so, like, is the same person winning all of these auctions?
I mean, they better hope so, because if not, it's going to be a lot harder for them to track down these cards.
Yeah, they're going to have to pay more than they could have had it for.
Yep.
It's interesting though, because like if you were say you're the underbidder on one of them, and you're trying to do the PSA 10 run as well, do you
just give up?
You just keep losing. Like, you'd be so defeated. I would give up and stop bidding on them.
Listen, I refuse to let that PSA registry get in my head. I refuse to compete with anyone. I know that there's a lot of people in the vintage community that do. Hats off to you. I will not do that. Let me tell you, man, I had multiple awakenings by attending the Nationals this year. I kid you not.
What were they?
Just, multiple awakenings of what do I really want to do with my collecting?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what lane do I truly want to be in? What do I want to do? And, I just really, I don't know if you want to call it meditated, processed, whatever the case, but just really thought about how I need to stop buying these lower end cards, and I need to really just hone in on these, you know,
Yeah, your Grail, the
eight,
Grail term.
8 to 15 vintage grails.
Yeah, that's what I decided that I wanted to do, like last year. So I'm on there with you on that same train. I love a ton of them. I just can't. You can't own them all.
Yeah,
So
I know.
you gotta stay focused, and I think it's best to have that conversation with yourself. Make yourself a list of like 20 years from now, what do you really want to see in your collection? Some people like the volume. Some people like like 5 huge cards, and then some people like player runs. Everyone's different, and you don't have to chase what the next person's doing. It's all personal. No one else is going to be looking at your collection forever. So
Yeah, I agree. Very well said, man. Very well said. All right. Well, there's 30 seconds left before the next window begins. I'll be curious to see where these basketball cards are and where these jackies are.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see like the price difference between the SGC 3 and the PSA 3.
Yeah, I agree.
Which I do think the PSA 1 should go for more. It doesn't have a crease, but the centering is better on the one with the crease. So
Which one would you prefer?
I prefer no crease over. The centering is better, but just I do no crease on this one.
Is this a final price? $516 and $564.
$50. It's pretty. Not much difference there. 10%.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I mean, I feel like my brain's going to explode trying to figure out which one I'd prefer, crease or no crease, but
I don't think the SGC3 would PSA 3 today, in my opinion. I think it would 2. But
all right, let's refresh this bad boy and see what happens.
so those basketball cards still going.
Wow. These cards are sitting at $19K right now, and that's without buyer's premium.
They doubled since extended bidding.
Yeah. So with buyer's premium, they're looking at $23K right now. Then we have some Jesse Owens rookie cards. Look at that. Both sitting at $750.
He has a lot of cards, actually. Like,
yeah, well, he does. I mean, he was in the Olympics in 36, and the tobacco cards were just huge back then. So
he has some in the 50s too, as well, like early 50s. He's like a Burke Ross.
Let me tell you something, man. I am exhausted from the National.
I bet. I was
exhausted.
I was tired from my, like 5-hour adventure at 3 a.m.
I bet.
So I can imagine were you there, 5 days?
No, I was there 3 full days.
Okay. And then you got back. You got back today or last night?
Late last night, like midnight last night.
Yeah. You had to sleep in or no?
No. Not when you have 2 kids. Not when you have 2 kids.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah. So in the comments real quick, yeah, A&W Collectibles, man, congrats. Saba says congrats. Dez says Atlanta should be it for the National. Mike says hopefully air conditioning would be on in hot Atlanta. A&W says appreciate that. It's a grail card for me. It's a lovely one. Dude, that is absolutely a grail card. Congratulations on that, man. That is amazing. If you follow me on Instagram, when you get the mantle in hand, feel free to snap a picture of it for me and DM it to me, man. I'd love to see it. He says it's a lovely one. He says exactly. Looks like a 2. Buy the card, not the grade. Saba says there's a big premium on the Clemente, but man, it's beautiful. Mike says I would take both mantle rookies over Dan Ohi PSA 10. Dan Ohi, do you get that? I don't know what he's saying.
He's talking about the 23K basketball card.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Mike, good call on that, man. A&W says that's where I'm at. I picked up my green cob in December. I've sold off so much small stuff that was impulse or FOMO buys. I agree, man. Listen, I'm right there with you. I mean, and one good thing that about National that I was able to do is I was able to purge some of my stuff. So I was able to I sold a massive 3, not like a short 3-row box. It's one of these oversized 3-row boxes of raw cards, all in top loaders, So probably I think there was probably like roughly 800 cards in there. So I sold the entire box of 800 raw cards. Then I had a slab box, like a 2-row slab box that had probably 60 or 70 slabs in it. Boom, sold that all off to the same buyer. So one guy bought 70 slabs from me, and another buyer bought 800 raw cards from me. Well, actually, at the time when I finally sold that box, there was probably 450 in there, but at one time there was 800. So I just, I sold some big wrestling cards that I had. I sold some big wrestling cards that I had.
You sell the PMG Hulk?
Nope, I have that. Nope, yep, still got that for sure. So yeah, I'm slowly just like consolidating down, and the thing is, I think, as collectors, I'll speak for myself. This is what I do. It's like I just like A&W Collectibles is saying, I impulse buy, I'll FOMO buy sometimes, I'll do this PWCC auction and be like, oh my god, I love those 1911 gold borders. Let me go grab one. Like, I don't even care who the player is. I just want to own one of them, or same thing with the 1914 Cracker Jack. I just want to own one of them at that point, So a lot of times, I find myself buying these things that in the long run I probably don't want or don't need. And the only thing I think at this point that I want to have in bulk is probably like my Eli Manning collection. I probably, have between 200 and 300 like PSA Eli Manning slabs, but some of them are like, his highest end there is.
You have big time Eli
I guess some big time. Yeah. So thank you. I have some big time Eli cards. So that stuff won't go anywhere. But I think what some of the thoughts I was having is like, yeah, man, I think I really just want to have like 8 to 15 grail cards. Like grail cards. And Jonah, did you see the maze I just picked up?
I did. You sent me a photo this morning of it. So it's in the SGC too. Look good.
Exactly. So it's like,
I know you had one. I think you owned 2 of those last year, and then they just didn't fit your eye, so you sold them off, and we're always been one.
You have a great memory, man. Absolutely. So like, I feel like I'm on my way. I feel like I'm on my way to kind of doing that, what I want to do. Right. So it's like, I got the maze, got that mantle,
Mickey.
Got the mic in, got the triple auto grade 10 on that, so it's like, I know I'm on my way to, like, I have the collection I want now. It's like I have the collection I need. I don't know if I have the collection I want. Like, I know I have the foundation, the big building blocks to a lot of the cards I really do truly want. But I also still have a lot of like, I'm like, I don't need that. I don't need that. Mike says, still collecting 51 Bowman. Mike, I am. I'm still collecting 51 Bowman. You know what? I still have. I actually put it out at National. I actually put out my entire binder of 51 Bowman. I have 75% of the set built. Plus, I have like 12 graded cards that are, and I think like 10 of them are autos. So, like actual in person 51 Bowman autos. So, I have that. And I think ever since I sold my 51 Bowman mantle, I kind of said, you know what? I just sold the biggest card from that collection.
Mhm.
I don't know if I necessarily have the passion to finish the set. So it's just been kind of sitting here, and I haven't really advertised it. I think I put it in the vintage chat 3 days ago. I put, guys, I think I'm moving this if anyone's interested, but that was really it. It's such a niche kind of thing. I'm not in a rush
Yeah.
to move it, because all it takes, I know for a fact I want another 51 Bowman mantle. So I know it's going to be in the cards for me to get one. So that's why I think I'm not in a rush to move the 51 Bowman. But I know if someone made me an offer, I would probably move the set for sure.
Mhm.
So I don't want to have too many projects open, man. I feel like we have too many projects. We have, I'll speak for myself. I have too many projects, too many things I do, too many things I collect. I really just want to, hone
Yeah.
in and figure it out. And it looks like these two 1970 Topps basketball PSA 10s both sold 22.8 out the door.
Wow. There's another one that was a PSA 10, Larry Siegfried. It was at like 3K, and now it's up to 16.5. It was at
Wow.
3K like 10 minutes, like 5 minutes ago.
Wow. Man.
I was like, this one's a lot cheaper than the others, and then now it's not.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because I just searched 1970 Topps basket or Topps. I just searched 1970 and I saw these.
So these are probably updating as we speak. Yep, sold, because now we're in those 60-second windows. So we're in those 60-second windows where everything's ending, and this auction in general is almost over, with not many active items still going. So let's see. So any new cards or anything that you want to mention or discuss, Jonah, before we slowly start to wrap up? I know you might not be ready for a big announcement just yet, but figured I would check in and ask.
Yeah, I got my 48 leaf or 49 leaf Jackie rookie. So that's the deal I was gonna do in person at the National, but I will hopefully get here like Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on.
You picked up a 48 leaf Jackie Robinson.
Yes.
Congratulations, man. Unbelievable. Congratulations.
Yeah,
And
that was fun.
and from what I understand, you bought it raw.
I didn't buy it raw. That it was raw like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks
So
ago.
it was raw 2 or 3 weeks ago. He got it graded.
Yes, it's
Gotcha.
from a guy's collection who was like 80, 85. So
Wow.
I know the original owner. So, or I know who owned it.
Wow.
So.
Well, I know who the new owner is.
Yeah, when I tried to buy the whole collection raw, but a local buyer got it.
Yeah.
And so, but it was a guy on Twitter, so I messaged him right when he bought it, and I was like, "Would you sell the Jackie?" But he thought it was going to grade higher than it did, so I was like, "I'll just wait till it grades what I thought it would grade," and then it did, and I agreed to the deal. Like this, basically the second he got the scan back.
Wow.
I was
Yeah.
in those DMs waiting for that card because I knew it was the copy I wanted.
Man. Well, congratulations on that, man. That is huge. I'm glad to hear that. I know that's a card you've been after for quite some time. I know that you've owned multiple Jackies in your life. You've never owned a 48 Bowman or a
Yeah,
48 Leaf. So
right.
I know this is huge for you, man, and it couldn't have happened to a better person. So I'm happy for you, bro.
Thank you, thank you. And that I got that snap to Jackie too, like I think the day before, the day after. So it was nice to get them together.
Wow. Unbelievable. I love it, man. I love it. Well, listen, this auction is just about over. We're at an hour 40 right now. Jonah, man, it was a pleasure having you join.
Yeah, great to be here as always, Rob. And I hope everyone had a great national, and I know you did. So I'm excited to hear your podcast about it in the this week and next.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. And guys, to everyone that's watching, everyone that was in the chat, thank you very much. I hope if you were bidding on items, I hope you had great success. Congrats again to ANW Collectibles, who is in the chat, who's been here the whole time, who says that he won the 51 Bowman PSA 1. So congrats again to you, my friend. Well deserved. It's a beautiful one. Absolutely looks like a 2 at the least. So again, congrats. And I guess that's it, guys. Don't forget, shoot us a follow. I am Sports Card Therapist on Instagram, on Twitter, all that good stuff. Jonah, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JD9Cards, and that's where I mainly use Twitter, but I always scroll on IG sometimes.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right. Well, thank you very much. And don't forget, guys, take care of yourselves and your collection. Have a good one.